एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत One India, Great India is an innovative project launched by India's Ministry of Human Resource Development. Mr. Pokhriyal, the Minister of Human Resource Development in the country, has formally announced India's determination to launch this program as part of the CBSE syllabus. What does this program imply? The determination of the people of India, the resolve of the Indian nation to proclaim to the whole world and to educate its new generation that India is a civilization which has stood the test of time. India has always believed education is emancipation, education is empowerment, education is enlightenment. Yes, that has been the concept of education which India has been nurturing and propagating throughout the centuries. The tradition of Gurukul, which is nothing but homeschooling, or rather learning from the mouth of the Guru, living with him, working through him, thinking through him, and getting enlightenment, has been the practice of India from time immemorial. Then came the concept of Western education. Western education, propagated in India by Lord Macaulay. What the British Raj wanted from India was made clear by the Bishop of Agra. A British education officer told the bishop, "Mistake to educate the blighters, but one must have an ample supply of clerks to rule this blasted country." That was the concept of education which the invading British wanted to impose upon India. But that is an old story. Now, COVID-19 has taught the intrinsic merit of Indian education. Education for total consciousness. The modern day sage and rishi of India, Jagadguru Swami Isa, has propounded the concept of education for total consciousness. What Swami Isa means is that education has two levels, the subjective and the objective. The Western system of education focuses on the objective. But Swami Isa, the God-gifted spiritual voice of India, says that objective education of course has its merits, but subjective education is what reflects the soul or the quintessence of education. Yes, what you see in the outside world is objective, but what you see inside your mind and body is subjective. Swamiji has proved with empirical evidence and spiritual support that subjective education integrated with objective education is what reflects the soul of education. Even in one's mind, there is always a dialogue between the self and the world. Yes, the dialogue between the self and the soul, the dialogue between the self and the world. These are different manifestations of the same reality, the subjective and the objective. Taking this to the spiritual world, we reach the Indian philosophy of Advaita. Advaita means Tattvamasi in a way, a very abstruse concept made simple. Tattvam Asi means you and I are one. How can you and I become one? Once you understand the Indian ethos, the Indian milieu, you will absorb or assimilate the essence of Advaita. The individual energy and the universal energy are one. The individual consciousness and the universal consciousness are one. The subject and the object are one. This is what Jagadguru Isa has been trying to propagate to the world. And he also establishes beyond doubt, in simple terms, that science and spirituality are one and the same. Science tells us the whole world is a result of invisible energy. Energy manifests itself as vibrations. In his I theory, Swami Isa has proved that the center point of these vibrations is the I particle. The whole gamut of energy vibrations is centered around the I particle, the original vibration. Swami Isa is trying for a happy marriage between science and spirituality. He has proved with convincing evidence that the subjective and the objective, the universal soul and the individual soul are just one. It is only a matter of perception. Socrates, the great philosopher, was once asked, "Sir, how is Athens?" Socrates never answers a question straightforward. He asked a counter question, his famous method of catechism. When the young man asked Socrates, "How is Athens?" Socrates asked a counter question, "Where do you come from?" "I come from Crete." "How is Crete?" "Crete is bad. You cannot trust anyone. People are selfish, brutish, nasty." Socrates said, "Athens is also like that." Then comes another person who asks Socrates, "Sir, how is Athens?" Socrates asked the counter question, "Where do you come from?" "I come from Crete." "How is Crete?" "Crete is beautiful. People are very loving, selfless, helpful, kind. Crete is God's own country." Socrates replied, "Athens is also like that." Athens remains the same. Athens does not change, but people's approach to Athens, perception of Athens changes. Yes, Athens is the objective reality. Perceptions are the subjective reality. What the Greek philosopher Socrates expounded to the whole world through his teachings, his catechism, that is what Swami Isa is trying to interpret to the whole world through his twin concepts of education for total consciousness and the I theory. What does Swami Isa do? There is a story by O. Henry, the renowned American storyteller, The Last Leaf. Once upon a time, long, long ago, as someone prescribed the norms of telling a story, yes, once upon a time, long, long ago, there lived a young girl. She is in her sick bed. All that she can do is watch out through the window and see the tree full of leaves. Every day, a leaf falls from the tree. The young girl knows one day in her life has fallen. There is an old man in the neighborhood. He is a painter. He laments that he has not been able to paint his masterpiece yet. Now, the young girl finds there is only one leaf left on the tree outside. She knows this night the last leaf will fall, which means the last day in her life. She is sad. The neighbors are sad. The next day morning, when the neighbors look inside her room through the window, they see the sick girl dancing with joy. She has got a new lease of life. She's happy. The neighbors are happy. They go and see that the last leaf The last leaf of the tree has not fallen. That is what gave the girl a new lease of life. But under the tree, the neighbors find an old man is lying dead. He is the artist in the neighborhood. The whole night, the chilly wintry night, the old man drew his masterpiece. Through the last leaf on the tree, yes, his masterpiece. He gave a life to the girl. In the process, he died. This is a question Shakespeare's Hamlet asks: to be or not to be? That is the question. The old man had no doubts. He sacrificed his life so that the neighborhood girl should live. Ask the question to yourself. Answer yourself. When you do something, do you paint the last leaf in somebody's life? Or do you pluck away the last leaf from somebody's life? This is what Swami Isa has been asking. Do you realize that the subjective and the objective are one and the same? Do you realize that the individual soul merges with the universal soul? There is no dichotomy between the subjective and the objective. There is no dichotomy between the outer world and the inner world. Look at yourself. Realize, as Sir Philip Sidney said, look into your heart and write. As Shakespeare said about poets, poets are those who give airy nothings, a local habitation and a name. Which means poets are those who give objective reality to the subjective perception. Objective reality to the subjective perceptions. Swami Isa has been telling the whole world the subjective and the objective are one and the same. All conflicts get reconciled when you realize the sublime point of the subjective and the objective are one and the same. You arrive at this state of realization when you absorb the complexities of the I theory propounded by Swamiji. In this COVID crisis, what Swamiji offers to the whole world is a simple solution. Realize that the subjective and the objective are one and the same. You and I are one. Tattvam Asi. Swamiji has discovered the world. Let the world discover Swamiji. Beauty is truth. Truth, beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. I repeat, beauty is truth. Truth, beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. Once you realize Swamiji's concepts, then you realize the subjective and the objective are one and the same. Different manifestations of the same reality. COVID has taught us a lesson. Divided we stand, united we fall. Yes, this is a paradigm shift. For ages we thought, united we stand, divided we fall. Yes, in the conflict between the subjective and the objective, now we are realizing that opposites gets reconciled and merge into each other. The low frequency vibration is needed to balance the high frequency vibration to arrive at a harmonious equilibrium. In an hour of realization, yes, COVID has taught us the subjective and the objective are one and the same. The world has found a reason to come back to Swamiji, back to basics, back to your roots. Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya. Dispel darkness, bring in light, lead kindly light. That is what Swami Isa proclaims to the whole world. His life is his message. The subjective and the objective are one and the same. Tattvamasi aham brahma asmi.